Hello everybody, Bruce Elgort here with 5 pro tips to get you started in Module 1. Number 1, naming your folders and files. To avoid any potential problems, it's always a good idea to name all of the folders and files that you're going to create in this class using all lowercase characters and no spaces all of the time, okay? Again, all lowercase, no spaces, all of the time. Next, the file extension for Python programs is .py. So if you're trying to run some code that you've written and it's not running, first check to make sure that the file extension inside of VS Code is .py. Pro tip number 2, visual code extensions. There are literally thousands of extensions available for Visual Studio Code. If you're new to coding, I would suggest only installing the ones that I outlined in Canvas. Also, if you are an advanced programmer or you've simply used VS Code before and you feel comfortable with it, and want to explore the inclusion of other extensions, please go ahead and do so. Just look for extensions that have at least 3 or more stars, all right? If you go into extensions in Visual Studio Code and start exploring the various extensions, some of them don't have very good ratings, and that's probably for a good reason, as they're probably not very useful. Pro tip number 3, clearing the terminal. When you run or execute your code, your Python code in Visual Studio Code, it will launch what is called a terminal window and run your code for you. If you look at the image on the right, that is the terminal window that I have highlighted in the yellow rectangle. After a while, the terminal window can get a bit messy, and if you want to clear the terminal, like get rid of all the textual information that's there, on Windows, you can type the letters CLS, and then enter to clear the screen. And on Mac, you can type the word clear followed by enter to also clear it out. All right. Now for an extra credit opportunity, if you Slack to myself, directly to me on Slack, the phrase below, I watched the Module 1-5 pro tip video, I'll mark you down for some extra credit. Pro tip number 4, change your color theme. Visual Studio Code allows you to change the color scheme, right, for Visual Studio Code. Now, look at the 2 images. The first one is for PC and the second for Mac. And you go to the Preferences menu and then Color Theme. Note the keyboard shortcut keys for both PC and Mac, right? Just know that if you learn those, you can bypass having to go to the menu. And if you want to become really good at programming, you're going to want to keep your hands on the keyboard and not reach for that mouse that often. So again, learn the keyboard shortcuts. They will pay off. And pro tip number 5, the Visual Studio Code command palette. Now, the most important key combination you're going to need to know for using Visual Studio Code is Control plus Shift plus P. That's just Control Shift P on a PC and Command Shift P on a Mac. And that's going to bring up, as you can see in the image on the right, the command palette. And from the command palette, you have access to all of the functionality of VS Code, including keyboard shortcuts for the most common operations. All right, so learn how to bring up the command palette. And that's it. Thanks for watching these 5 pro tips. Have a great day.